Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. I'm Chris of the Northwest, your compass-clutching cartographer of caching chaos. And we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're waving to the nice trucker who let you cut in front of him today, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
That was quite the mouthful there. It's a tough act to follow.
Sometimes get carried away.
Yeah, although it says here, I'm wit's end, your soldering sage of signal-powered surprises. So I guess that's something.
Yeah.
But, you know, welcome. I'm glad all of you are here. It is Thursday night. It is opening day for baseball season, the traditional time to begin your false hopes and crushed dreams that Mariner fans have come to appreciate.
Give it a couple of months, though.
The disappointment's coming. Don't worry about it. And Mariners, please prove me wrong. I will be happy to be wrong. At any rate, tonight we're talking about caching, and we're heading to the heartland of gadget cache greatness. That is, of course, Gilby, North Dakota. If you've ever dreamed of a place where creativity runs wild and every cache is a clever contraption, Gilby is your destination. And who better to guide us than Retired Guy? He's a geocaching legend with a knack for building magic into every hide. What makes Gilby so special? What's new in 2026? And how can you bring a little Gilby-style flair to your own caches? Stick around. We're going to hear all about it in just a little bit. This one, well, it's wired for wonder. But first, it's time to bring in our gadget-grabbing gibbon. Some say he once powered a gadget cache using only static electricity from his tail. Others say he won an Oscar for most dramatic geocache find. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
And they played me out on my Oscar speech, as per usual. So you know how it goes. I hit about 22 minutes, and they're like, "Okay, please stop. Get to the topic." They said.
That's right.
We did introduce Doug, Retired Guy, but also we've got Chad Trycacheus here as well. I don't know how we missed that in our notes.
I don't know how we missed it either. I apologize.
But there you go. And Jim
I
just
thought maybe it was a
sold.
secret. Yeah, I read the description. I thought maybe he's a secret. I won't mention him yet.
Anyways.
And, you know, our Canadian listeners, he's going to address all of us, even though his name is Trycache US. So I just want to get that out on the table.
Interesting. I didn't know that's what that was for. I just thought it was.
I'm positive that's what it's for. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll find out a little bit later as we get into this. So before we get into our sponsors and everything, just maybe a warm welcome to the Northwest, Doug and Chad. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
We're really happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to learn some of the travel secrets to enjoy Gilby. So we're going to dig into that. But before we do that, folks, we want to throw out a quick reminder of how much we appreciate the support of our patrons who help this podcast keep coming each and every week. And first, we want to thank our corporate Denali level sponsors, as we do at the beginning of every podcast. The first one up on my list, and like a good host, I'm also just reading what I'm told. The Shark Store will be closed Good Friday, but open Easter Monday for anyone visiting the island for the upcoming Easter long weekend. So if you're thinking of doing a geocaching adventure trip over to Vancouver Island, well, maybe plan your Monday to get to the brick and mortar Shark Store on Monday between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. The shop will be open. And hey, if you want to order something ahead online and just tell them you'll pick it up in shop, you can do that too. So you can order online today from landsharkz.ca.
Now, Land Monkey, is that a store for brick and mortar sharks? It seems a little heavy, like they couldn't swim well.
No, they probably wouldn't be able to. I'm not sure. I guess it's kind of like what's that? Wow. Good way to destroy a quick joke when you can't remember the name of the thing that you're thinking of, that the video game that you build things out of.
Yeah,
Minecraft.
Minecraft. Thank you. There you go.
I
That
thought you
was
were going to go over
pretty
like a Led Zeppelin or something, but
Yeah, exactly. That's how the joke went over. Yeah. All right. Continuing along, things that I do know the names of, Cachly. It is the premier geocaching app for iOS. Version 8.1 is out with Cachly Pro features that include offline maps of the entire world so you can navigate while offline, DeLorme and counties to finish those grids. And of course, the cool aspect for you Apple users, Apple CarPlay support. Still looking forward to seeing that when I can carpool with somebody who uses Cachly. I think that sounds so neat to be able to actually have the geocaching app up in CarPlay. That would be
I
neat.
use
very cool.
I use Cachly, but my car's too old.
Right. There you go. Dang it. Somebody help buy Jim a newer car so he can try
There you go.
The app is cheap. The car is more expensive.
Yeah. All right. And our third corporate denial level sponsor, well, that's the Village of Valemount, where every season offers its own unique adventures. Alongside nature's beauty, the vibrant village is offering local charm, unique geocaches, and warm hospitality. So whether you are seeking outdoor thrills or just a peaceful retreat, Valemount awaits you. No, not you. You. There we go. Okay.
Me? Oh,
And
wow.
you. Also you.
It awaits me.
Yes.
Maybe I'll have to go there this summer too. Hey,
Just start adding to the list, Chris. But if you want to,
I think if we go up to Valemount, swing over to Manitoba and down to Gilby, that would make a nice trip.
Epic road trip.
That's a road trip. Absolutely, that would be a
6
road
weeks by the time you're done geocaching. Should be great.
trip. Hey, I love it. SB Dave has a couple of new hashtags. Building on from last week, hashtag take wits end caching. Actually, that's 2 weeks ago, isn't it? Hashtag take wits end caching. Absolutely. And hashtag buy wits end a modern car. I love it.
Hey, I am my own favorite charity, so.
And it starts at home. Wits End's home. There you go. So, folks, if you want to know more about supporting the show or how to buy Wits End a modern car, click the Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website.
Folks, if you want to get into tonight's chat, and trust me, you're going to want to, use the hashtag Gilby, toss that right there into the chat, and poof, we will force these two to answer your questions, no matter how obscure they may be. Well, I don't know about force. We may ask them politely. Of course, you can use the hashtag FATAS to bring up anything in the after show. And you can also use the hashtag take wits end caching if you want to plan a caching trip in the Tri-Cities.
That works.
Indeed.
Now, we don't have any news this week, folks, but I did get a message from a newer listener. Started watching us on YouTube and wanted to know how to change their YouTube chat name. Now, I know we've had a couple of people successfully do it. If you've done that, send an email to me at feedback@cachingandw.com and let me know how you did it so I can pass it along, because I don't have the time to do it right now, right when everybody else has time and they're just staring at YouTube. I'm kind of busy.
Do you know where that would be a really good topic for people who know how to do that? If they could put that in the Discord chat.
Oh,
For Caching in the Northwest, that would be super helpful.
Good call.
Love it. Love it.
All right. Yeah. And Barling wants to know, what is a Discord?
Yes.
Well, it's what happens whenever I try to play music. But I digress.
Discord, DAC cord.
One of them chords. Hey, much to the shock and surprise of our live chat, we're going to jump right into tonight's topic at only 10
minutes.
Where's the 10 minutes into the show?
Everybody lost tonight.
Yeah, it's because whoever had that in their pool is a big winner, because that was the long odds on that. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm excited to hear all about Gilby. We've heard some in the past about it. It sounds like it's just a fantastic caching destination. Before we get into that too much, though, why don't you each take a moment and introduce yourselves to our audience? Let's start with Chad.
So my name is Chad, if you haven't heard, but live in the small town of Gilby. I've been geocaching since 2008. I don't have a lot of finds, probably a 5,000 or so. I go by the name Trycacheus. The part I like about geocaching is building myself. I love building these fun caches that draw people to our small area. I enjoy meeting everybody that comes out. If I can catch them on the road somewhere, I try to. But I like I say, I live in Gilby. I've got 2 kids that are grown and out of the house. My wife Jane lets me puts up with me with all the time I spend out in the shop playing with all the tools and gizmos and gadgets I've got out there.
Nice.
Who's it's and what's it's aplenty?
Yeah. Who's
What was
what's
that?
galore?
Well, Trycacheus, before we get too far, how did you come up with your name?
When I started, I read it in a Boy Scout magazine. I was a leader for my son's Boy Scouts, and I thought my daughter and him would enjoy going out, so it'd be the 3 of us out caching. So that's kind of how it started, and then also it's try catch us out there, I guess is what we were.
Nice.
Love it.
That's awesome.
And Doug, what
All
about
right,
you?
yeah, Doug.
Well, let me introduce myself. Doug, retired guy. I retired 20 years ago. But my claim to fame was 45 years ago when I invented Ms. Pac-Man, which became a big hit in North America and started off my video game company back in the early 80s, back with Atari and Valley Midway. I was introduced to geocaching back in 2009 and decided to take a tact at it a little different from a lot of people. I involved my travel. I used to travel a huge amount on business, and so I had to go back and visit a lot of the places I've been to. So I now have completed the oldest geocache in all 50 states and now in 99 countries out of the 167 countries I've been to. I keep on going. I will hopefully break through 170 something this year. I'm going off to the stands, not Pakistan or Afghanistan, but all the others, unless people are shooting at me, and I'll cancel that country. I also enjoy putting out series of caches. I'm responsible for the historic Boston GeoTour, and also the down in Florida, the Retired Monkey Challenge Trail, which is 210 challenge caches down the middle of.
Sorry, my audio dropped out. Down the middle of.
Yeah, we lost you there for a second.
Middle of Florida.
Okay.
So,
It's weird,
Land
my
Monkey,
audio dropped.
you're not allowed to do those yet. You have a few more years. Wait till you retire, and then you can go do those.
Yeah.
The first thought when I saw that Retired Monkey Challenge, I thought, oh yeah, I wish I was a retired monkey. One day soon.
I hope I don't
Retiring-
live that long.
Retiring does make caching much easier.
Yeah, I get that feeling. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, so let's dig into Gilby here a little bit. It's we know lots of folks in the chat have been and enjoyed and probably have lots of questions. I've seen tons of questions coming in, which is fantastic. But I get the sense, and particularly from the way Chad was sharing, that Gilby isn't just like somewhere you wake up and decide you're going to do on a whim. It may take a bit of planning to really optimize your visit there. Can you guys maybe help us understand, and our listeners and myself understand, what's the best way from the nearby major cities that maybe have an airport to get to Gilby? Can you like rent a hotel or an Airbnb in Gilby? Like, where do you pick up your groceries? Like, just some of the basics. Can you help us figure some of that out?
I think Chad is going to have to talk because I could not even find Gilby on a map.
It's just over there.
Just outside the door. Yeah.
Outside the front door, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
how easy?
Gilby is a little ways from. We don't have an airport unless you want to land on a grass runway. Grand Forks is the nearest big town, big city. It's probably the number 5 as far as largest in North Dakota. So it's a half hour from us. And then Fargo is another hour from that. So an hour and a half to Fargo. Typically, people will fly into Fargo because it's a little bit cheaper to fly into Fargo rather than flying straight into Grand Forks. There's lots of hotels in the Grand Forks area. There's a few Airbnbs that are within 15 minutes of Gilby. There's a state park, beautiful state park, Northwest State Park in Turtle River, which is about 15 minutes away. I've had people ask if they could park their camper in my driveway, or some of the empty farmyards we've had people park in. But like I say, it's not the biggest place. We do have a gas pump. We don't have a gas station. There's
important clarification. Yeah.
Yes,
The pump is the important part anyway.
There is a gas pump and it's got gas. You have to use a credit card. There is a small bar in Gilby that opens a little later in the day, 4 or 5 o'clock at night in the evening. And then there is a hardware store also that has some candy and chips and pop and things like that. But you come prepared, bring food, bring whatever you need. We don't have a cafe in the town. 15 minutes away, there is something. You can find something to eat.
Brian Link says Gilby's a long way from anywhere. And
Oh man.
Land Monkey, you said, you probably shouldn't drive there on a whim, but yet I see JMJ here says, I drove up on a whim.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Nice.
Your mileage may vary.
Exactly.
The neat thing, though, for some reason, North Dakota is one of the last states people visit. I don't know why that would be, but in Fargo, they actually have, if you are there at the last state, the last of the 50, they have a T-shirt for you and all kinds of things. It's kind of a neat.
It's that common of a thing that North Dakota is the last state people get to. That's funny. I wouldn't have thought so. I would have. Yeah. Well, anyways, fair enough. Very cool. Any pro tips about planning ahead for like GPS use or roads or anything like that if people are planning to drive around?
We have Verizon works real well. I don't hear too many people having troubles with their cell phones, but it's always a good idea whenever we travel anywhere to download onto our phones. Mm-hmm. or GPS. I know a lot of people come with their GPSs still, but that's typically what I do whenever we go anywhere, is make sure I have it on an offline list.
When I arrived in Gilby, I had not understood the term that was marked on several roads, minimum maintenance. I've now learned that means you probably should not go down that road after it's been raining. I found out the hard way, had to back out quite a ways. I don't know what it officially means, but just don't go there.
That's what it means. Don't go there.
Pro tip for sure.
Yeah. last year at our event, we had a little bit of rain and a couple of people didn't know what minimum maintenance meant either. So I was called a couple of times to go tug them out of some muddy spots, but
Are some of the caches for the GeoTour down minimum maintenance roads?
I would say no to me, but there are minimum maintenance roads that would lead to them.
Sure.
But the caches,
but you don't have.
There's a way to get around without using a minimum maintenance road.
Good to know.
The problem is you look at Google Maps and the minimum maintenance roads look identical to all the other roads.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you go, oh, why not take this one? It looks like it's the shortest route.
Minimum maintenance means I hope you got the rental car insurance.
Yeah, I think so. Right. Okay. Thank you guys. I think that was really great information to be able to share off the start. I really wanted to kind of set the tone for what the experience of getting to and being in Gilby might be like. So I really do appreciate that. So back in January, we were reaching out to you guys to try and get this all all set up. And when I did reach out to the official email address, gilbygeotour@gmail.com, I got a really quick response back from Retired Guy, who we've now learned is in Boston. So Doug, why are you on the podcast?
Yeah,
a very
Doug.
good question. I should just leave it all to Chad. So it all started with my love for GeoTours. I did my first one out at Geo Woodstock in Cincinnati, and I did the Butler County Donut GeoTour, and ran around from donut shop to donut shop all around the towns, and found it really fascinating that rather than just choosing my own set of caches to go for, there was this curated one that someone had put together and said, go for these. And I really enjoyed it and did my second GeoTour and my next GeoTour. And several years later, I decided to put out my own GeoTour in Boston, put together the historic Boston GeoTour, where we pretty much strung together a lot of adventure labs, because it's very difficult to put caches in downtown Boston.
Right.
And it's particularly difficult because of the Boston Marathon bombing years ago, that the reviewers, rightfully so, are very, very strict on the rules of putting out caches. So we put out the Boston Historic GeoTour, where it was a string of virtuals of a couple of Earth caches and 45 adventure lab stops. And it's been very successful. A lot of people come to Boston now to see historic Boston. And as they hike the Freedom Trail, which is our famous way through Boston, you now do 9 sets of adventure labs or 45 stops along it. And it was a lot of fun putting that together. And so I got into doing these GeoTours. I think my count's now 61 different GeoTours. I've done them throughout the world, and was always fascinated with the fact that a great group of geocaches could be put together as a set of caches that someone else could do. And I visited friends in Fargo, North Dakota with my wife, and saw that there was a Fargo Moorhead GeoTour there. And I decided, okay, getting up at 6 a.m. and I'm going to go do it, be back for lunch. And off I went doing this GeoTour. I ran into geocaches during the GeoTour. She was spearheading it. And I started talking to her about some of the caches. And she goes, "You've never met Chad?" I go, "Who's Chad?" "Trycacheus." "Nope." "Well, he's up in Fargo." "Where's Fargo?" "It's way, way, way north." So I first heard about this, and she goes, "Well, you have to come out for a Gilby Gone Wild." And I couldn't, because it lands on my anniversary, and couldn't get out. It wasn't really a great event to go for my anniversary. So I had heard about it, but didn't do anything. And later I was talking with Gia, and she goes, and she's famous for the quote, "Gilby should be a GeoTour." And this is before she was a lackey. And I go, "Yeah, I agree." And I started talking with Jeff Caulfield at HQ, and he said, "Well, there's a little bit of a problem. You know, they don't have a chamber of commerce. They don't have anybody that could put it together or anything." I go, "But it needs to be. You could see the caches." Well, I was actually lying a little bit. I had never seen the caches. It was only reputation at this point. But I said, nope, it needs a GeoTour. So working with Gia, working with Jeff, I started pushing it ahead. And finally, I was convinced we should move it ahead. So I contacted Chad and go, "Hey, let's do a GeoTour." And he's probably looking and going, "Who are you? You're from Boston. You've never come to Gilby. Why would you want to do a GeoTour?" And it's probably a good question to ask. You know, what did you think when I contacted you and said, "Time for a GeoTour"? Chad?
Yeah, well, that's pretty much true. Out of the blue, I get an email from somebody that I've only seen on a podcast once before. I was pretty sure he wasn't crazy at that point. But that was my big question: is why the heck would he want to sponsor a GeoTour in my little town? That is no advantage to him other than I find out that he's a souvenir hound. But yeah, it was a shock to me. I wasn't really sure what to think about it, what the advantage to anybody would be. I hadn't. There's been a number of people coming to Gilby at that point, but I wasn't really sure why somebody would want to go to the expense of putting a GeoTour on. So I visited with my friend Gia, and she already knew a little bit about it already. So she convinced me that let the guy do it. So I guess I have Doug to thank for that.
That's pretty amazing, Doug. Very I guess entrepreneurial, but just giving to the geocaching community. I think that's awesome.
Well, it was so strange. I was hearing all this amazing accolades about the caches that Chad had put out, and everybody I talked to that had been there was saying, these are different from what you've ever done. They are amazing gadget caches, and what people kept on saying, and they all work.
Yeah, that's the caveat.
I have to underline that about 5 times. That I'm a MIT mechanical engineer, and I love great machines, but I know how difficult they are to maintain them. Mm-hmm. And when I heard and then eventually got to Gilby and saw that they all functioned properly, that was almost as amazing as how creative they were. That they were built, and hopefully we'll talk about this later. They were built to last. They were built to withstand idiot geocachers. I mean, novice geocachers or whatever. And
frustrated cachers.
And to me, there's nothing worse than getting up to this gadget cache and you're halfway through it and it stops working. And you go, okay, what do I do now? Do I come back another day? And if it's part of a GeoTour, it's even worse because you only get the souvenir if you get 100% of them. And if there's 29 geocaches and you get 28 of them, and then you go back to Grand Forks and fly back to Boston, you got nothing. You have to get them all. And there's no asterisk you can put and say, but it wasn't working.
Yeah.
So, what really impressed me about Chad before I even met him was everyone was saying his are built extremely durable, and he maintains them really, really well. So his uptime is 99 point something percent. And that is what really made it sound like it needed a GeoTour, because that's what a GeoTour needs.
Yeah. Very cool.
Wow. Really cool. Now, I know there are many, many wonderful gadget caches in Gilby. How did you choose which one should be on the GeoTour? I mean, that's got to be a tough decision. Yeah,
picking them. I've had this question before, and it's like picking my favorite child. I won't tell you which one he is, but hopefully my daughter's not listening. Sorry, Jamie.
Well, Chad, it was nice having you on as a guest. Sorry.
We'll miss you.
Yeah. Picking them was a tough thing for me because there were some that I really liked the way it works. There's some that I know are built better. Mm-hmm. And then there was a group of us, the geocaching vlogger, Josh, Gia, and a couple of other had made their list, and we kind of whittled it down from there, trying to find the ones that we thought were going to last the best. I am a carpenter by trade, so I have a rough idea how things go together. As far as being an MIT engineer, I am not anywhere near that, which probably is a good thing because I don't know what I don't know.
I have to interrupt for a second. I'm an MIT dropout. I studied mechanical engineering at MIT.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so I am not an engineer, which is probably a good thing because I don't know what I'm not doing right. But I enjoy my time out in the shop building them. But it was a kind of a team effort to pick and choose which ones we thought would be best to be on the list.
It was fascinating that we created a spreadsheet trying to analyze what are we wanted to have 29 or 30 caches, and Chad had volunteered to release 4 or 5 new ones. So our target was to choose 25 caches that were best for a GeoTour. And I've never heard a criteria of what makes a cache best for a GeoTour. So we sorted them based on favorite points, and that led to a lot of quick ways to look at it. We also looked at number of times it had to have owner maintenance, how long it was down for, and a few other things, and tried to look and say what makes a GeoTour cache. But eventually, we gave some recommendations over to Chad, and he goes, and let me tell you, these are my favorite kids. But we came up with a good list. But as Chad was saying, it feels bad for the ones that were left off the list because they are also amazing.
Wow. We have a message here from Marquette Millerman. We appreciate the tour, having driven 536 miles one way 6 times.
Wow.
Thanks for all you do, Chad. See you in September.
Yeah, it's amazing that how far people will drive for our event we have in September.
That's very cool. Well, we'll talk
It
more
really
about the
is.
event, I'm sure, as we get there.
Yeah, but as far as this GeoTour, so you have all these caches to choose from, which is, a really good problem to have, and created new ones too. How did you actually make the GeoTour itself?
Well, that's not my side. That's the hard part for me. The building them, I think, is fun, but Doug he's the whiz at that side, him and his team.
So what we pulled together is the 25 caches that were already out there, or 24, and 5 new ones, and started working with HQ on setting it up, getting a GeoCoin designed, geocaches, helped with the design there, or came up with the design, and I love it for the coin, and started putting together a website on it. I am, as many geocachers are, totally into stats. And what I want to do is have the website display a lot of the stats that are available, going through the data of seeing how many people have been there, which is the most favorited cache, even if it's not Chad's favorite son or daughter. But so started working on all that, and got the paperwork all done with HQ to launch it as a GeoTour. And then I decided I had to buy a ticket and fly myself out to Gilby and actually see the thing.
So you got all the work done. Then you're going to go have the fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was worried he was going to be disappointed. That's pretty tickled.
Alondro says, had a great time in Gilby last summer with Seebeck Tribe and go for it. Can't wait to go back.
Nice.
Just Carlo says, I've seen many of Trycacheus caches. That's a tough one to say. From YouTube videos. I always wondered, are many of them on private land? What's maintenance like for all these gadget caches?
Good question.
So I've grew up in Gilby. I actually was born in Palo Alto, California, but we moved here when I was 5 years old. So I've lived around here, and I've known most everybody around in the area, most of the farmers. I've worked for them on their houses and buildings, whatever. So I know quite a few of them. And I ask all the between fields, there's rows of trees to block the wind, to keep the
Right.
dust from blowing back from the 20s and 40s. And so these rows of trees are a great spot for me to put these caches. I asked the farmers if I can put them in there, and I haven't had anybody say no yet. I actually had one farmer, I asked if I could put a cache in one of his trees, and in about 10, 15 minutes later, he sends me an email with a map with stars on all the other trees I can put them on. So it works out nice. There's usually an approach. You can get off the side of the road, and I put them a little ways down the trees, a couple 100 feet, just to get them out from visibility from people going by. And so it works out real good for me to have them out there. Maintenance wise, I try to make them tough. I use good materials, good hinges, equipment that I use. I put in more screws than I probably need to. I want to make them so they can stand up. We do have kind of winters that are a little tough on things, so I try to make them somewhat waterproof, and I try to make them durable so they'll stand up. Like I say, with the GeoTour, there's been a lot more people coming, that's for sure. So they've been standing up pretty good. I use bigger batteries than the ones that do have electrical bits and pieces in. So maintenance been okay. It's not terrible. I try to, as soon as I find something's wrong with one, I'm trying to get there that day.
Wow.
And
good for you. Hey, Chad, I got a bit of a follow-up question on that. And you said for the landowners, you've had zero issue getting permission. How does that translate to you working with the reviewers? Do you have a reviewer that you specifically work with for these GeoTour caches so they know exactly, like, you guys are totally always talking, or is it always like having to convince the reviewer, no, I have permission for this location?
No, the reviewer's been really good. The reviewer we had, I think he was from Oregon. The nice thing now is our reviewer is actually in North Dakota and is a friend of ours. She's a great geocacher herself, and so it's really nice that that I can work with her. She's easy to work with. She's very knowledgeable, but I hadn't had trouble with the reviewers before.
That's good.
The fun thing is, before we knew who our new reviewer was, she, who I didn't know was a she or not at the time, she had asked if I could have a reviewer reveal at the geocaching, our geocache event. And so nobody knew who she was. I didn't know who. It's just a couple of people knew who she was. So it was really fun that she asked that she was able to come out during our event. I thought that was pretty neat.
That's very cool.
Well, Chad, you mentioned that you tried to get to the caches quickly. Brylang says Trycacheus gave exceptional service last June, repaired a cache for us before we got to it when we told him we only had one day in the area. So he says, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad that I hate having people come and the caches don't work. When I worked with Gia on the Fargo-Moorhead GeoTour, she kind of set an example. And as soon as there was something wrong, I knew she was out there checking it. And if she would call me, because I had a few caches in Fargo for that, and she would ask if I would come out and check one out here and there. But she was a stickler on making sure things were right and for every cacher.
Okay, I know we've gotten a little off track, but good questions from the chat. Thank you, guys. Seaback Tribe says, I love that his caches are just not park and grabs, right? The first one we did, it took us about 30 minutes to finally get on the right track and opening it up.
Wow. Yeah, there you go.
Gilby they aren't park and grabs for sure. You do have to park. And I try to make them so that they're not too difficult to figure out. I don't need more people mad at me than I already have. I do put my number on the ones I think are going to be a little trickier, and I don't mind if people call me or text me or whatever. I'm happy to give them a little hint to get them started, or if they just want to know the combination, I've done that too. But to me, they're all easy because I made them. I know how they work. Doug, I see, is shaking his head. I'm guessing he may be stalled on a couple. But
I stumbled on a couple.
But remember, he's an MIT dropout.
Yeah.
If I only got that degree.
Yeah.
So at least we know where the bar is now. Okay.
Yeah. Somewhere between a carpenter and an MIT dropout. Yeah. That's what I'm shooting for.
I love it. Now, Gilby has been on my bucket list for a couple of years. And as I look through the chat, I'm not alone in that. It looks like several people are trying to plan to get to Gilby this year or next. What's a good time of year to get to that bustling metropolis of Gilby?
February.
You
have it all to yourself.
At that time, you don't have to worry about roads.
There is no mud in the roads whatsoever then.
Yeah.
I guess not. Bring your snowshoes.
Yeah, it really depends. The beginning of the summer or spring, I mean, the snow is melting. Like right now, the snow is melting. There's still where the rows of trees are, the snow is 3-4 feet deep. So it's tough to get out there. And of course, as it's melting, then of course there's flooding and mud and water in the ditches. So I would say early spring, if you don't like wood ticks, not ideal. If you don't like mosquitoes, I would wait till later in the summer. Myself, our event is in September, and that's right around there. The beginning of September is usually the best for me. I think weather's a little nicer. The weeds are little drier and dead. And beginning of the year, the grass is shorter. So it varies. Depends on what you like and don't like. Right now is not ideal.
Grew up in Ohio, so I know about mosquitoes, in August, that are large enough to carry away small unintended children. So, yeah. I love it.
There you go. Fall is best if you want to avoid wood ticks and mosquitoes, plus cooler temps are also nice.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good time of year.
Great.
All right, so you do an event in September.
Mm-hmm.
It's been going for a few years now. I can imagine that's a really busy day. If you go in February or March, the snow is really deep, but you'll pretty much have the place to yourself, I would imagine. But during your event, I imagine the crowds are considerably larger. How do you get the word out? How do you advertise your events and how advertise Gilby?
Gia's got a Facebook page that we've got quite a few people follow that. The event in September, I tell people don't come. It's not the right thing to do but if you don't want to be in a line, which nowadays it isn't as bad as it was. There's so many caches out here, people are spread out quite a ways.
Sure.
The newest ones I put out, like I say, I put it roughly about 10 out a year. Those maybe will get a little bit busy, but otherwise it's few and far between from one cache to the next. If you see somebody, they just drive the next half mile and there's another cache down the road. But that's what I think. The event is a lot of fun. We have some fun games and things we do there, but and I get to meet and visit with a lot of people. It's fun.
Very cool. So this past November, I think a lot of us got a little taste of Gilby during the GIF. One of the films featured a little bit of Gilby and quite the little teaser there. How did that experience come about?
That's something. It's amazing to me what people come to Gilby, what they want to do. So the geocaching vlogger Joshua and Craig See My Shell, they wanted to put on a good GIF or whatever you call it video, and they had talked to me a couple of times. They wouldn't give me any hints of what they want to do about it, what's going to be. They just said that you're in it.
That's a lot of trust, Chad.
Yeah,
That's
I've
a lot of
worked with them
trust.
before. That tracks.
Yeah. I
So
can verify.
it was fun. I had never done anything like that, and I liked the idea they had once they did let me in on it. I had to clean the shop a little bit so they could actually get in the shop, and so it didn't look like too much of a mess, which it always is. But it was fun.
It's a good shop.
They did a nice. I think they did an excellent job on the film. It was a great idea, and it was fun. And then the neat thing is we were able to put on a smaller event and invite a lot of our local geocachers so they could be in the film, the video. So that was fun. It was a neat experience.
And it was a well done video.
Well, Craig is he's very professional. Well, both of them are.
Yeah.
But it was it was a lot of fun when Josh is doing some acting or I was doing acting. Craig's in the background whispering what we're supposed to be doing and what we're doing wrong, and so it was fun. It was an interesting thing to do.
Jeannie says to really enjoy the caches, you should spend a couple of days there.
That's a question a lot of people ask.
Yeah. How long?
If you go as a single person, unless you're an MIT dropout, you might struggle.
I struggled.
I typically say at least 2 days. You aren't going to get through all the caches probably. You'll get the GeoTour done, but there are a lot more gadget caches out here than just the tour.
Okay. We talked about the roads earlier. Seebeck Tribe says we were there in the dry time and went down one of those roads, the minimal maintenance roads, and very quickly it was turning into no road. We had to back out a bit and turn around. And Skyhawker adds, we drove our rental car to Gilby Gone Wild last year. It took 4 washes to get it clean.
Yeah, all the roads the caches are on, majority of them are gravel roads. They're, like I say, they all have fairly decent roads to them. There are a number that are along the highway, but majority of them are along a gravel road of some sort. But there's always a pull off and a field approach that you can pull in.
For those of us that are not from farmland or whatever, I had never heard the term approach before. We don't have it in Boston. An approach is a place where I guess the tractor pulls off the road and into the fields. And it is an area that very easily takes a car or 2 or 3. And each of his caches, or just about all of them, seem to have an approach. So you can just pull off the road and there's a nice little parking area. And then 200, 300 feet back into the trees to go find where the gadget is.
Nice.
Very helpful, Doug.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now,
We should have those in Boston.
you know, if you get out of the city, you probably do.
Yeah.
No,
Way out of the city.
way out of the city. Yeah.
And you don't need a big truck or anything to get down the roads. They're easy gravel roads. You can take your car down them. Pay attention a little bit when you're pulling onto the approaches. Like I say, if you haven't been to North Dakota, it's flat. There isn't a lot of big hills until you get to the western side of North Dakota.
Chad, I can relate. Like I say, I grew up in Ohio. To me, the highest spot around me was a highway overpass.
Yeah,
where we'd go sledding in the winter. So, Doug, you mentioned earlier that you love souvenirs.
I do.
And did a little research, and with a little work, you can earn 5 souvenirs in a day around Gilby. Okay, if you do the GeoTour, of course you earn that one. Maybe it takes 2 days if we're including the GeoTour. Of course, your first find will get you North Dakota, which may be the last state you need in all 50 states, as we heard earlier. Minnesota can be earned by crossing the Red River in Grand Forks. And then Manitoba and Canada. If you don't have Canada, that could get you an extra one as well. That's 80 minutes north of Grand Forks. And then South Dakota, if you're willing to drive 2 hours south. So there you go. There's 5 souvenirs you can get. Now, Doug, did you get all those when you went there?
I already had all but the Gilby GeoTour.
Okay.
But I had been to North Dakota a couple of times because I had friends in Fargo, and then I did the Fargo Moorhead GeoTour.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was there, yes, I had driven all the way down to South Dakota before breakfast. But that's what we do.
As one does. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, guys. So we talked earlier. I think we were talking about this before the podcast, but maybe we mentioned it in the early part of the podcast. But hey, we all know how much us geocachers love our stats. And as I understand it, the stats have definitely taken a forefront, the fun stats on the Gilby GeoTour webpage. Can you tell us about maybe some of the cool numbers that are there, and you know, and maybe also why that you think it's valuable to have those stats put to the forefront?
I'll talk about why, then I'll let Chad go through some of the stats that he has for his caches. Why? Because we all love stats. So when I put together a series of caches, I did this for the Challenge Trail. I did it for the historic Boston GeoTour, a couple of the other series caches I put out. I will have a listing which shows how many cachers have gotten to them, how many favorite points they've gotten, and that kind of fun details that are just fun to look at and see how many other people have been there, how many viewed as favorite. And it also allowed us to see which are the favorite caches out of the GeoTour. So Chad, you can probably go through some of the stats, but they are amazing, talking about what the GeoTour has done and how many favorite points you have earned.
Yeah, the stats are kind of fun to look at. It surprises me. So total favorite points from the tour itself is 11,701.
Wow.
Top 3 favorited caches that are on the tour is Strongman at the fair at just about 700, which Doug actually gave it its 500th when he was down here. So it's already gained 300 since then. Driving Miss Daisy, which is probably my favorite cache, one of my favorite caches. That one's almost at 700, 689. Really fun, interesting device, which I think is pretty neat. It's a little tricky.
Yeah, I'm not sure I gave that one a favorite point because I'm an MIT dropout and I spent 45 minutes there.
So that one's got it's 576. So total in the series of caches I have 21,624.
Wow.
And that's then as far as the number of cachers that have found caches, 1,452 cachers have been here.
Nice.
On the geocaching GeoTour website, they actually have it's neat, the stats he's got on there. Also, there's a list of people that have finished it, and then there's about 400 on that list of the Hall of Fame people that have done the Gilby tour.
Chad, I got to ask you a question. And, you know, first of all, congratulations. Clearly, those stats are illustrating that you have done a pretty remarkable job in building these geocaching experiences and Doug the work to make sure the GeoTour took place. Like, kudos to you guys for sure on that. I'm curious, and this, I don't want this to sound the wrong way, but without the GeoTour, do you think that Gilby would ever see that much tourism, or do you think like the GeoTour has kind of really put Gilby on the map
as far as tourism?
I would say, yeah, it has definitely changed the number of people that have come. Like I say, I've got a lot of different YouTubers that come out, and they have, Josh was one of the first ones. I ran into him at the the mega that was down south, and he was walking towards me, and I wanted to catch and say hi. And so we started. He was in a hurry. I could tell that
he's always in a hurry.
He was trying to escape groups, and I stopped him in a way. But as soon as he seen me, I think I might have had a Gilby, or my name tag was on, and he goes, "You're the guy from Gilby. Everybody tells me I got to go down." So he finally did come down. So it was neat that he came down and started giving some of the videos, and I like I say, I've had a number of other people come on and do YouTube videos like Wholesome and Hailmeister and Neil Moore, and so I don't mind them coming out and do videos. It's as long as they kind of keep them not to show the exactly how they're opened. I think it's neat that people will start making copies of them. I've been in other cities and they say, "Hey, I know how this one works," and things like that. I think that's kind of neat.
Okay, so you answered the question that Carlo had said: is how do you feel about spoilers in the YouTube videos? So I think what I heard you say there, Chad, was please come film the caching experience and the area, but don't show how they work.
Yeah. Don't
give away the secret.
Exactly, the secret. I mean, it's going to happen. Some of them are tough not to show how you get into it. But I like the idea of sharing ideas and making it fun for other cachers that can't get to Gilby, things like that. It's a lot of fun. It's neat to see them, and it's drawn people to Gilby to start with, and then, but like I say, the tour really, I think, has brought people out, and I can see the people that just do the tour and then head out of town, which, like I say, there's other caches here that are fun also.
When you talk about the fact that other people take some of your designs and put them in other places in the world, it would be really interesting. I would not know how to do it, but to see the lineage of some of your ideas and where they ended up. I, for one, stole or borrowed Chad's idea of a cache he put in the Fargo GeoTour, where he took a keg, a beer keg, and cut a door in it and made a geocache out of it.
Nice.
And I decided for the Cache Odyssey, Massachusetts, to do that, but I had to call Chad and go, "All right, so how do you cut a beer keg?"
Oh, you just go into the shop. I've got everything there.
Yeah, I do.
Take your plasma cutter and go.
Yeah,
I don't have a plasma cutter, but
of course. What a dumb question, right, Doug?
I must be in the wrong garage.
Yeah,
I don't have one of those.
Oh, too good.
So, Doug, did you take it to like a metalworking shop to cut it for you?
I have a friend that has a plasma cutter, and he said, "No problem." And it cut like butter, he said. But I have a feeling if I had taken my hacksaw to it or some other electric tool, I would probably hurt myself.
You'd probably still be cutting on it.
Yeah.
So does that make it butter beer?
Oh,
You got it.
now,
Okay.
did you have to take a full keg of beer along with the empty keg?
No, it was empty.
I know.
How did it get
as
empty?
Payment for your friend to cut it open.
My friend lived in Ohio, and I originally said, "Oh, it's going to cost hundreds of dollars to ship a keg to Ohio."
Yeah.
But I did not own a keg. So I went online and said, "Where do you buy a keg, an empty keg?" And they were inexpensive. And I said, "But what is shipping?" And the shipping was $40 for a keg.
Oh, that's not bad.
And I don't, the post office has these book rates or something. They seem to have a keg rate. Or empty keg. I don't know. But so I shipped him the keg and said, hold on to the packaging and ship it the exact same way it came to you. And for $40, he shipped a keg from Ohio to Boston.
Ohio, the best state to start caching.
There you go.
Somebody's looking to get on Chris's good
myself.
side.
Okay. We have already passed the hour mark somehow. This has just gone really fast, but I have a couple of questions. First of all, Gilby is become known as the Disneyland for geocachers. How did that name come about?
So a family came to Gilby and to do the caches, and they told me the story that they woke their kids up and said, "Hey, we're going to go geocaching," and it was like, "Oh, Mom, what do you want to go geocaching?" And they said, "Well, it's not normal geocaching. It's like geocaching in Disneyland." So that's how it came about. And I mentioned that story to Joshua on one of the first trips he came down, and it just kind of took off from there. I thought it was kind of a cute story, and it's neat how it kind of took off.
It's very apropos, though. When you go there, you're running around and just enjoying yourself.
Sure.
Going, this is great. And you have this gigantic smile on your face, the way kids do down at Disneyland or Disney World.
So you've done just a tremendous job making some really high quality gadgets. You've mentioned a few people already, but do you want to give a shout out to people that have helped you along the way to get all this done?
Well, of course, my wife's got to be number one. He'll let me know that I didn't mention her, but I'm getting in trouble from the family today. She does let me. I'm out in the shop till all hours of the day and night, but other than that, like I say, the cachers that were in the area that kind of spurred me on, and that that's how I started, is trying to drive them up the wall, Genies in particular. But then when Joshua came out, the videos, like I had mentioned, and then when Doug contacted me about putting the tour on, it all fell into place. It was great to have Gia as a good friend and working in headquarters and kind of give me some heads up of what should be done and what needs to be done. She was very good at that, and working with Jeff a little bit. But like I say, Doug, it really made it easy on my end, just because I just had to build caches, which is what I normally do. So I really appreciate all the help everybody has done.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate you. Thank you for taking your time to be on the podcast tonight. We may have to do another one of these. Just, I don't know if we've touched enough about Gilby, because right now we have people asking, are there other gadget caches in Gilby that aren't on the tour? Well, yes, of course there are. There's lots more. So,
and back to Gia and Jesse, they contacted me. They've been to the Gilby event a few times.
Yep. And
they said they'd like to put out some challenge caches. So along the highways, there are caches at every sign that I could put one on. So there's a lot of challenges out here also, as well as the caches that are out here. There are caches under different names. My name, my wife's name, Cache Rusty, which is top secret. Don't tell anybody, but that's me also. If you rearrange the letters of Trycacheus, you get Cache Rusty.
Oh,
nice.
Don't tell anybody that. That's top secret.
That's our secret.
Nobody's listening.
Okay, yeah. So, but it's a lot of fun having Cache Rusty around, because he can hide maybe not so much fun caches, but all his caches are gadgets also. But yeah,
he's a pretty good guy, I hear.
He is. Yeah, we share a birthday.
Oh, nice.
That's funny. Well, we've had lots of great comments and kudos to you guys, but I'll maybe just wrap on this one from Rosie B. Chad's caches are the best. Gilby Gone Wild is an amazing event. The GeoTour is so fun, and I think we all share in this. Thank you to both of you for all that you do.
Absolutely.
Folks, Thanks for taking the time to listen, and we hoped you enjoyed this episode of Caching in the Northwest.
Yeah, I know I did. And
I loved it.
How
it's
could you
one of
not?
those rare, good job. It's one of those rare occasions where I'm pretty sure Mrs. Monkey's actually watching the podcast live. She's actually interested in the topic tonight. So there you go.
Probably my wife too.
There you go.
We're sorry about that, Chad.
Yeah, I'm probably in trouble.
Yes. How comfy is that couch, Chad?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Gonna ask me how I know.
That's the voice of experience right there.
Mhm.
All right. Well, maybe before Chad gets in any more trouble, we'll take a moment to thank Landsharks, Cashly and Tourism Valemount, our corporate Denali level sponsors. LANDSHARKZ.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. They are shipping those orders daily. And remember, you can go there on the Monday after of the Easter long weekend and pick up your orders or just check things out. And Cashly, well, that is the geocaching app for iOS. And if you have an Apple-enabled motor vehicle, well, take Wits End Caching so he can show you how it works in your car. There you go. And whether you're seeking outdoor thrills or just a peaceful retreat, Valemount awaits you. And this time, I mean everybody, all of you. Valemount is awaiting you. All right. Well, thank you to our faithful Denali level supporters outside of our corporate ones, and that is Cool Cow Cachers, Hawaiian Maile, and Alondro. And folks, if you want to know more, Chris, am I missing one?
And Retired Guy. You know, the guy right there on this podcast.
I was thinking, hold on.
Yeah.
I pulled a Jim. I just read what's on the screen here.
I'm telling you, sometimes you're like, I don't know, it's not written
the
down.
Spidey senses went off. I'm like, wait
Right.
a minute, something's not right here. All right,
Yeah, see, we've had this one planned for a while.
we have. So thank you, Retired Guy. And folks, if you want to know more about supporting the show, click that Patreon link on the cashingnw.com website.
Yes, thanks all of them. And thanks to LG9000.
Skyhawker.
Commenting in the show tonight, Genies.
Yeah. Kitty Quest.
Railroad.
Learning how to spell Gilby, it's Keats94.
Gas Station Tuna.
Geo Karen.
Just finding our way.
The, what was the title? Gilby Hype Girl? Geocaches.
Yes.
Somewhere in North Dakota is probably Lost Ken.
He's in Winnipeg.
There we go.
He's driving around North Dakota because he's
There you
lost.
go.
B Pendragon.
Mountain Bike.
Whidbey Island Gal.
Gundark 2000.
She's been to Gilby. It's Seabeck Tribe.
And Teus.
Green Words.
JT Coffee.
Boomer 365.
The Camp Clan.
Log Work.
Wet Coaster.
Subway Mark.
J Car.
And W Cats.
Star Casher.
CRS 98.
Korsgat.
JR and Juju.
You Talks to Rocks.
Geo Birder.
Just Carlo.
Limax.
M Nerve.
Alan.
Kid Vegas 19.
The Terrible Tease.
Pete Chubb Washington.
Fear the Tubas.
Flagman.
Trexer.
GSM times 2.
Dora Moore.
And the Caching Cans.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Trycacheus, Chad. Thank you. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you directly, how would you recommend they do that?
They can call my cell phone at no.
I almost thought you were going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, you can find it on the cache somewhere, but yeah, it's just look me up on the geocaching. It's on there.
All right. And Doug, MIT, not engineer, but still I can say e to the u, du, dx, e to the x, dx, cosine, secant, tangent, sine 3.14159.
Whoa.
Radical, mu, dv, slipstick, slide rule, MIT, go tech.
Wow.
How did you learn that?
I went to MIT one afternoon as a tourist.
Well, the same way I went to Harvard. Okay.
Yeah, I went to Harvard and MIT on the same day.
I know how to spell Harvard.
I bought an MIT souvenir T-shirt, And it wasn't until I walked into a restroom and saw it in the mirror that I realized in the mirror it says Tim, because all the letters are symmetrical. Anyway, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, just head to Boston, walk the Freedom Trail, and shout out that MIT Tech cheer, and you'll show up.
Sounds good.
Or,
I'll be
okay.
there.
What's the best way to reach you?
You can just reach me as Retired Guy on any messaging or doug.mccrae@gmail.com.
Awesome.
Folks, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. So if you like the show, please click the Patreon link wherever you can find it on the cachingnw.com website. Better yet, share your ideas for things that we can talk about. If you like the vibe, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. If you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. And of course, you can always call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or join us in Gilby using Cashly CarPlay any time of the day or night, especially with Wits End. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. This show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwoods, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2026 by Chris Umfenauer. Folks,
The after show
starts right now.
Immediatement.
Wow. What
was
a show. That was a lot of fun.
That's
great.
I think we might have to have you guys come back maybe midsummer to talk about the Gilby Gone Wild event, just more specifically.
Sure. Yeah.
Gilby is absolutely fantastic. I think he says his name in another post, and I'm sorry I don't have it there in front of me. I literally drove from Western Wisconsin up one night, stayed at Gilby Gone Wild the next day, and drove back that same night, 6+ hours. Best gadget caches. Hi, Chad.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, hi, Dad. That's funny.
Seabeck Tribe wants to know, how do you come up with the ideas for the caches?
Ooh.
It's kind of funny. A lot of them just come out of the blue, but on my bedside, I have a tablet, and let's see, I'm trying to think of his name now. Glenn he actually gave me a pen that lights up now, but I'll wake up in the middle of the night and scribble something on a piece of paper, and then in the morning try to figure out what that was. And so some of my caches actually come as I wake up in the middle of the night.
Neat.
Like say, now that I got this lighted pen, I might be able
to
understand
read what's written in the
exactly.
Yeah.
It must be because you're eating pickled pizza.
It's very possible. I guess I haven't had pickled pizza, but I have stopped at Pizza Ninja and got a piece of pizza when I stopped at the Cache Odyssey cache in his area.
Nice. Okay. Justin wants to know, is Doug the first guest with an IMDb page?
I don't know.
The three hosts have an IMDb page.
Yeah.
For this podcast.
That is also true.
I don't know if our guests do. Huh. Okay.
There you go. Good question. There you
With that, Starcacher, who's from Ohio, by the way, and will proudly tell you so.
How do you know?
Thanks, Doug, for the Miss Pac-Man geocoin. I love it. You sent it to me as a result of my larger donation during the Podcast of Hope a couple of years ago.
Well, thank you for supporting the Podcast of Hope. A great event.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Stuff.
Doug brought up the donut tour.
Yes.
Early on, and that's a long-standing joke with me and Gene East and a couple other guys. We went down there, and I was all excited to do a donut tour. I love donuts.
Right.
Who didn't? But the problem is, Jerry and I went down there with two teachers, and they liked earth caches. So I knew where every rock, but I never did see a darn donut.
Right?
Yeah. I was a little disappointed, and anytime I see somebody with a donut T-shirt, I give them the finger now.
I have one of those shirts. I should have worn it today.
You should have.
Daryl W4 and I went to do that cache, and we had the idea we'll eat a donut at every shop.
Ugh.
After the second stop, we're like, no way, this is not possible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What
And
were
Mrs.
we
Monkey and I went to do that. Went at the Giga Stock event there, and
Mhm.
we went to go do the tour. And yeah, by the time we got to the first one, and they were just closing because they were out of donuts, and at that point, all the rest of them were closed. So, Chad, I definitely can empathize.
It actually was neat. There was one that was a hill that was all fossils. So actually,
Yes.
Mhm.
I've got a fossil sitting on my table over here. I don't have any donuts, but so that was my donut tour.
If you had saved a donut from the tour, it would be a fossil by
It
now.
would
Could
be,
be.
yeah.
Could be.
The fossil field was cool. That was unexpected in that
Yes,
area.
it was.
Yeah, that was neat.
By the way, Chris, the Twonky Dave Barsky has an IMDb page.
Of course you would.
That's
Yeah.
right. Of course he
Yes.
does.
There you go.
Let's see. Just Carlo says a Maker Magic Craft a Cache Lab is on April 11th in Richmond, BC. That's GC Bravo Kilo. Well, I don't know what V is. Victor November Yankee. I'm hoping to get together enough materials for folks to craft simple caches. I
Nice.
love that. So if you're in the Richmond area, help out Carlo with some caching. What caching gear, caching supplies?
Supplies, yeah. Geocache building supplies. And hey, if you're in northern Washington or
Yeah, there you go.
anywhere in southwestern BC and you want to come on over, well, put your will attend in on GCBK VNY and come join us.
Go right now. Go to Costco. Get that big container of peanut butter. You can have it all eaten by April 11th, and then wash it, and you can hand it to them.
I don't know. Maybe that's not what Carlo's looking for. But
Oh,
thank you for being helpful, Chris.
Seabeck Tribe says in Gilby, it was all about learning his. That means Trycacheus' his hiding style and figuring out his mind. Scary. We were so overthinking things on the first one and not reading things well.
Is that a pro tip, Chad? Read the description.
It doesn't hurt anything.
Okay.
Look things over close before you even get started. There are a few spots where you might get hung up when you don't need to be concentrating on that. But I don't know the style necessarily because I've got a lot of different types and different things you have to do. I try not to have too many that I've copied from other cachers.
Wow.
Yeah.
They aren't all 100% original, but quite a few of them I think are.
I was gonna say I was looking for this one earlier from GSM Times 2. Good job making them so they challenge a geocacher and not try to defeat a geocacher. Because you can make things just so hard that they're not fun.
Yeah. So one of when my kids were living here, that was one of the things I would have them come out to the shop once I have a few and have them go through it and see what they get hung up on or what way they got in that I wasn't expecting. Or
Yeah.
But I'm afraid they think more like me than they probably should now.
Well, according to Genius, you're a little warped.
No doubt about it. We get along real good.
I'll call out that I did notice that Gia has come and joined the podcast. She noted a little bit late. I guess her ears were burning.
Yeah,
She
probably
remembered
so.
talking about her. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Gia's a fantastic gal. I get a kick out of her. I enjoyed working with her at the on the tour, and then she brings Jesse out to Gilby anytime she can. Yeah.
And wow, look at that picture of her. She seems to be carrying a very large Swiss Army knife.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Wonder where she found something like that.
Yeah. Where would you find that?
I don't know.
it's west of here 3 miles.
there you go. Spoiler alert.
Or thereabout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to be too specific, but
Mhm.
Too funny. Carlos says if you're going to bring a peanut butter container, wash it 3 times. So there you go.
Oh, folks, thank you so much for joining us. We've gone too long, but nonetheless, and until next week, get out, try to go build your own gadget cache and get caching in the North.